Hi everybody, it's Ed. I'm back with another interesting video. Maybe informative, maybe not, but oh well, it is what it is, right? And happy Sunday. It's right after Globex Open, 6:15 on the East Coast. I want to go over a couple of things. We had some interesting ideas. We've run across several people that have put out levels for the day. I put out levels for the day. Other people put out levels for the day. And the question arises, um, what levels are going to stick? What's going to bounce? What's going to stick? Well, I found that there's actually a couple things that I like. Actually, a couple things that make sense to me. This is right around. This was right at cash market open, 929.59. This is for the S&P. I don't usually trade the S&P, but I'm trading crude oil right now. But the principles are exactly the same. Exactly. Okay. Now, I have my levels are in green. You'll see these little green thingies right here, little green rectangles. Pauli levels are in blue right here. I like to see confluence between my levels and his levels. They're a little different at times. At times they're not. At times they're like right on top of each other, and at times, like for example, right here, we have a lot of confluence right here at the 45.85 fish level, 45.84, 45.85. Okay, so how do we know when how do we know that these levels, which levels are going to stop at, which levels are going to stop at? Well, I've been watching something for quite some time, and I call it dynamic support and resistance because it's extensions of the 2-day VWAP. There's the 2-day VWAP, extensions of the 2-day VWAP, right? So I got my 2-day VWAP on the charts, right? From midnight, 2-day VWAP's green. So I know at the moment, right, and in the overnight session, I'm biased upside. And so what happens is it comes down. Here's that Pauli. Here's a Pauli level here, right? There's one right there at Globex Open. Okay, I had to pause here for a second because I wanted to make sure, absolutely sure. There's a Pauli level right here, but my level is almost the same level, and it's right. It was right behind here, right? Okay, so Pauli levels and my levels are pretty much the exact same right here. Okay, both when Globex Open, it came down to test that level, to test my level, test his level, and then went north. How do we know we were basically pretty much biased for the overnight session? Is because everything's above that VWAP, right? Now, see where it starts hitting this band and bouncing, hitting the band and bouncing. Why, where's going to be that significant resistance, right? Well, I'm not going to talk about the point is not to say, my levels are better than Pauli's or Pauli's levels are better than mine or whatever. I mean, it's you paid your money, you take your chances for pretty much anything. I know guys that sell levels that the levels are like, oh my goodness, they're spot on, they're perfect, they're this or that, and then the next day they fail. And that can happen to anybody, So you have to judge any sort of level that you have to judge it based on what's going on in the market, and not. I have people that say that price action is king. Price action is the determining factor, but price action and volume are what institutional traders use. They don't just use price action. They don't use patterns and bull flags and bear flags and all that kind of stuff because they're meaningless. Well, I can't say they're meaningless. Bull flags and bear flags fail a lot of the times. They've only got about a 56, just above 50% success rate. So I don't like, people say, well, there's a bull flag setting up. Well, so what? You got a coin toss whether or not it's gonna, whether it's gonna hit that and be a bullish market or a bearish market. So I have found this to be, for me, it's a little more accurate. I mean, other people, hey, your mileage may vary, right? What I like to see, and I was looking at this in crude oil on Friday, and it worked out, and I just flipped over and I built myself a new, here's a new S&P chart. Everything's new, everything's, I haven't looked at the S&P for days, okay? So I put this thing on this chart and I looked at it and I said, okay, what's going on, right? So here's a Pauli level right there, and it happened to be a 4576, happened to be one of my levels on there. It's in Pauli, sometimes Pauli levels and my levels are spot on, absolutely perfect. Sometimes they're a little bit off, okay? But and again, I'm not saying mine are better, his are better, or whatever. But what I'm saying is that their level, both my levels and his levels, are levels that the market definitely reacts to. Okay, so we started off in the overnight. We're coming up. What are we doing? We're pulling back, right? We hit the Pauli level. We pull back. Hit the Pauli level again. We pull back. We pounce through the Pauli level, right, to my level, right there, and then we bounce down, and then we bounce off my level down here, and we shoot to the moon, almost to the moon. Whoops, I don't know what that was all about. We hit the Pauli level. Sometimes Sierra Charts does weird stuff like that, just jumps up and jumps around. So we hit we hit. Then let me just draw this out. We're looking for. I'm looking at this level here, 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 and looking at this level here, right? So what's happening? And oh well, forgot to do the, the significant pullback levels were right here, right there, and so you can see these where these came back. Where if you'd have taken, say for example, you'd have taken taken long here as it came back up, taken long back here to the Pauli level, bounced off. You wouldn't be taking shorts because the bias is up, because here's your VWAP, right? Not anyway, not yet, right? So what's happening? They're buying it up, buying it up, buying it up. As soon as see that little rust-colored line right back there, that zone, that cloud. What that is the VWAP extension, and what that VWAP extension is, the cloud is between 1.9 and 2.4, I think it was. So anytime you get to this VWAP extension, it bounces, comes back down, bounces, comes back down, bounces. It reacts every time you get there. So what I'm looking for is a confluence between a level and the cloud. When the cloud and the level equal each other, that's when you have a reaction. That's how you can tell which level is going to stick, which level is going to hold, what's going to happen. It's going to have a reaction. Okay, there's the Pauli level there. There's my level there. It had a reaction there because you're in the cloud, or you barely touched the cloud there, so you didn't have a whole lot of reaction. You're in the cloud there, you react. You're in the cloud there at the level, react. You're in the cloud there at my level, you react. What happens? You come back down to here, right above VWAP, and you react to that level. Why didn't you react to this level or this level or this level? You push through it. Well, because see how far you are that level. See how far that level is from VWAP. The closer it gets, the more of a reaction you're gonna, more chances of reaction you're gonna have, right? So why did it react to this level here? Because here's the VWAP. The VWAP's right there. That's the Pauli level's right there. Why? That's like 4 ticks away, 3 or 4 ticks away. So you're looking at 4 ticks. You're looking at 5 or 6 ticks there, 5 or 6 ticks there, and then you come down and you're like 3 ticks from it. Yeah, it's going to bounce, and then it's going to react to that level. Everything's coming up because why? Because well, these people are front running it. They want to get as close to that VWAP value as possible. They come down and then they react to that zone and then go up, right? So you could either take it at my level, which was down here. You could take it when it comes through the Pauli level. There's a long right there. I mean, it's perfect. It's beautiful. Either level you want to trade, it's gonna make money. Just remember, you come up here, and the same thing is down here. You can see that there's a green cloud and there's a green level right there at 45.60. That's my level. I don't think Pauli's got anything. Yeah, Pauli's got something below that, but it didn't come down there that on Friday. Came down to my level right there, right? But it doesn't matter if it was Pauli level. If it was Pauli's level down here at the extension, I'd say that's my target. That Pauli level is my target. That's my down. That would be looking at my downside target for the day. So my upside targets, I'm just bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. It's reacting, right? It's reacting down here, but you got this VWAP. Nobody wants to, nobody wants to get out. Nobody wants to penetrate that because what they're doing is they're building value. They're building a position, right? They're building a position where they can reverse it right here, right before cash market open. And that was like what, 9 o'clock in the morning, 9:08, 9:11. It reversed off that, and it reversed off that level. Well, you have to look at, one of the other things you have to look at is you have to look at time. You have to look at the extensions, but you also have to look at time. How far are we away from VWAP? You're pretty extended from VWAP. You're 1, 2 on my levels. How far am I? 1, 2. I'm 3 levels up, and this typically happens. Typically, I'll get a move if this is close to VWAP. Typically, I'll get a move 1, 2. I'll typically get a move 3 levels up and then bounce off and then come down, and that's what you saw here. So you could have taken here's the reaction right here, right? Well, you're thinking, well, it's gonna there's a reaction there, right? Well, there is, but what happened? It came right down to my level right there and just bounced, right? It's reacting between my level and Pauli level. Maybe Goldman Sachs uses my levels and Morgan, what was it, Morgan Stanley? One of the other big ones uses Pauli levels and the other guy's using mine, so we're fighting back and forth there. Anyway, that's my theory anyway. So that's an idea. Take it with a grain of salt, worth what you pay for it. It probably has absolutely no validity whatsoever in real life. So, what are we doing? What happened to be, we didn't know that at the time, but what happened to be today's high, it was a third level up, which I like to see my third level up. It bounced, right? And then we're going to come down from that. We'll come down, 2 or 3 levels. Sometimes more, sometimes less. I'm still trying to figure out the inflection levels on these things. If it bounces off, for example, if it goes from here, from my level here, 1, 2, 3, 4. If that's 4 up, you're not going to come back down very far. It's probably not going to come down very far. I would be aiming for this guy right here. I'd be aiming for that Pauli level downside right there. You have to watch how price reaction reacts right here, but I would be going for that, either that level or that level down here, simply because it's in that little cloud here, right? And that's the negative 1.9 to negative 2.4. So I hope I'm being clear on this. So you're following the cloud up, following the cloud up, following the cloud up until you get extended up here. You're starting to get into resistance. That 45.89. I don't remember which one that was. Let's see, 45.89. Yeah, that was. That was right. That was a breakout level, right there. 45.89 was a breakout level, so it did not break out there. It was not able to break out there to go to the upside, so it stopped there and came back down. Okay, here we go. So we're hitting that breakout level right there. We're coming down. We're coming down. We're selling. You're gonna get a reaction at VWAP. You're gonna get a reaction, and interestingly enough, you got a reaction. Sometimes sometimes price action will come up and react to VWAP. Sometimes it won't, and I think it's because they've hit these levels down here that they wanted to hit. They went a little bit past VWAP, right? Well, they wanted to hit that level right there. Once they hit that level, right, They reversed it, came back up, right? And then just shy of this level here, and then came back down. Fiddled around for a while, and then you can see these lines here. Number one, now we're trading back, we're trading down below VWAP. We came up to my level right there, bounced off VWAP up to my level, bounced off, came down below, bounced right back up to my level. So they're working back and forth between these levels here. As soon as this turns red right there, or that purple line, the purple line signifies a change in direction, change in price movement, price action. And now, of course, you're getting lower highs, and now you're getting a there's a lower high right there, lower high, lower high, lower high. So we have a trend change. We're coming back down, bounce off VWAP, then we make a lower high from here, then go back up, bounced almost off my level right there, right? Came almost to the level, and then downside. Here we go. We're going to the downside. Well, where's my target, right? Well, my target was, this target's like right here. This is the green zone. This is in this in that in the support band right there. There's my level. That's what I'm aiming for. That level in the support band, right? Comes down, bounces down, comes back up, and eventually, and you can see today's low. We eventually bounced down right there. So what you could have done is played that right here. You're coming down, obviously coming down. The stretch right there. There's your stretch. There's my zone. Came into the zone, barely touched the zone, rejected off that zone, came right back up, touched my zone, went just above the Pauli's level right here, and then came back down. There's your another short. So if you wanted to play this, Pauli level to Pauli level, for example, okay, you're waiting for something to come down through there. There's one there. There's the second one. The first one usually doesn't work because they'll bounce it up, and then the second one, there's my level, but we'll ignore those for the moment. Pauli level down, boom, there you go. There's a nice short right there. You could have seen these nice buys, a buy right there from here to here, right? You may be done for, or come back. This was a great long trade from here to here. Long trade, boom, you're done. Let's go play with some more Pauli levels. There's the Pauli level, went up, came back down, right? Hit this guy, right? So I'm looking at the chart going, I could play either one of those levels, but I'm coming down through that Pauli level, bam, I'm taking that short right there. I mean, look at all this price action. It's just straight down. I like these flex wrinkle bars because this is what they do. You don't have any tails. See where it's at, where you have absolutely no tails. See where the tail is right there, right? You had a green candle here, and in actuality, that was a red candle coming down. See the wick, whichever way the wick points, you want to trade in the opposite direction of that wick, of those wicks. So down, 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 down. There was a little bitty pullback right here. Down, down, down. We're ignoring these levels, the green levels right now for the moment. So you could trade here to here. That's a nice chunk of change, right? And then from here up, if you had your stop loss right, above this level when it comes down, touch the level, right? Bounced up, didn't go very far, right? So we're not taking longs, we're just taking shorts at this point, right? So short, there's the short, the VWAP turned red. It stopped going from red to green to red to green to red to green, which means when the VWAP turns like that, or a moving average turns like that, or whatever, it starts flattening out, and you start getting this, red green, red green, red green transition. That's the time to say, okay, this is not good. This is basically consolidation area. I'm not necessarily going to trade that. I'm still looking because we're starting to trend down. We're starting to go below. We've already had the trend change here, here. So we're going down. So I'm short biased. So anything below VWAP, anything below this poly level, I'm going to take that below VWAP. What's my next level right there? The poly level. Take that short, baby. Ram right bang, right back down there. Boom. There you go. There's a nice little bitty trade. If you didn't catch, if you caught it here, if you held it, if you got out down there, that's cool. If you came back and you held it, right? Because you were well out of the cloud here. You're well out of the cloud, so the chance of you coming back into that cloud, or of price action clawing its way back up there, is not very good. Now it came down here, bounced off VWAP, came back, but came back up here. It didn't come very far before it started to turn down again. You're making lower highs. That's the nail in the coffin for the long trade. And I think the longs knew it. I think everybody else woke up at this point when they started turning over at this point here. It's like, we're done shorts. I'm done with my longs. I'm going to shorts. So everybody's flipping. So here we go down, 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 down. And then down to this level, we bounced up, back up to the poly level, right there, touched my level, VWAP. You could take them along as you came, either the long down here, or you can take the long as you come back up through that poly level, come all the way back up here, bam, there's your target. It turns around, it touches my level, or this is my zone, turns around, comes back through, you're back into that short trade, right? Here's a little bit of consolidation because you turned it turned green here, turned red, turned a little bit of green, now you're getting solid red, boom, take it. You could take the short at the poly level, you can take it at my level, come back, come out right there, bam, there you go. So you've got this guy as another target. There's a great little trade right there, okay? And then turns around, comes back down here, right? Then starts working its way back up, right? So you're working your way back up. Here's your trend change. There's your trend change right here. See that guy? We're starting to flip from purple, trend down, trend down, trend down, to here, right? Now the shorts are done for the moment. Long trade, long trade, long trade, long trade, long trade, right? Almost back up to this level. You could have taken it from there to the next poly level up, boom, there you go, and then wait and see what happens. Or you could wait here because you didn't have really a confirmed trend change here. You had the poly level, it came down, came back up through, rejected twice the poly level, right? So you're thinking to yourself, well, rejected the poly level, I'm going back up. I'm gonna go long. I'll take a chance along right here. So you're going long, you grab that guy right there, okay? You're long from that point. You can get out right here. Sit through the pullback if you believe that it was going to go back upside for whatever reason. I mean, you're making higher lows, right? Higher lows and higher highs. So obviously the trend change was here. You got it confirmed right there, but you can always take it right there. Higher lows, higher highs. What's nice about the Flex Rincos is you can very clearly see that we're making higher lows and higher highs. So you're going up, you're going up, you're going up. You're hitting back up into this. What's that? There's the poly level, and that guy was 45.83 something or the other. 45.83 was a resistance level. 45.8375 was a resistance level down here for me. Okay, yeah, 45.78 to 45.83. Between 45.83 and 45.88, there's that 5-point zone up there, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. I'll cover that in another video. So coming down, you come back up, you're working. There's your target. Comes back up here, rejects, makes a lower high, right? Comes down to my level, poly level, hit that, bounced back up, then made a lower high. So right there, your longs are invalidated. You flip back over to your short, right? When you see this, okay, you can come up and you can use either one of these levels as a guide. If we're looking at the Pauli levels, right there at 45.76, you come up right there, came through it, okay? You have to have your stop back. You have to have your stop above the swing, right? So I don't like that, or as my wife would say, I don't like that. Very mild. Anyway, so you're coming down here. You can see the trend, right? You're making lower highs. So you flip back over to the short. This is perfect. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful price action here. You're making higher lows, and then you flip back into lower highs. Trend change. Here you go. Watch these Pauli levels. So I'm short biased at this point, right? I'm coming down. Here's your starting to get a little bit of congestion between these three levels right here. See those three levels, and I'll draw a box around them. There's Pauli level, my level, Pauli level, my level. So price action is basically, it's the Morgan Stanleys and the Goldman Sachs fighting it out. Goldman Sachs is the green level, and the Morgan Stanleys are the blue level, and they're fighting it out over who wants to get control there and who wants to get into the short. It's like they're pushing it up so they can get more shorts the highest price they possibly can to sell it, right? Which is what a retailer would do. I mean, anybody would do that. Right out of, well, I don't know if you'd call it auction theory, but it's right out of here. That you could call it auction theory. You could say, you know what, I got a $4,500 car, and I want to sell it for as high a price as I can. So what am I going to do? I'm going to try everything I can to push that price a little higher so I can sell it. Okay. Hey, my car the other day was at $45.82, $45.83, $4,583, but you can get a little cheaper today for $4,581. Whatever that is, it's a little cheaper, and a little cheaper, a little cheaper, a little cheaper. They're pushing it up to get to you. It looks cheaper than here, which it is, okay? But for them, they're pushing it up as high as they possibly can until they run out of buyers, right? On this side, and then they start selling, boom, coming down. So we came right back down to that Pauli level right here. Okay, back up. You don't know about, you're still you still haven't hit this zone, right? Okay, so we still have not. As you can see, I had to go back and go, well, okay, fine, yeah, whatever. Here's my today's low, right? I'm scratching my head, going, okay, why isn't it coming down there? But I'm making, what did I show you? I'm making, higher lows. Now we come down to that Pauli level, we bounce. Boom, beautiful, absolutely perfect, absolutely beautiful. Beautiful bounce right here, retest right here, coming back up. Globex open, midnight open, whatever that is. And this was the pivot down here. The Pauli level and my pivot level were almost exactly the same. Right here. Now you can see the green behind this guy. So my pivot was very slightly higher. Then boom, here we go. We turned around, came back off, bounced off the pivot, right? So we're coming down here, right? We're you could still consider for the day we're still a little bit long bias because we come down to the pivot, we're not able to sell it very much. Right? We're not able to sell it down through here. Pivot right here. We're not able to sell that. And even still, if you look at it at the end of the day, here's your today's low. They were able to sell it here, but they weren't able to, everybody was pushing it up to try to get higher prices. So what they do, right down to the Pauli level, boom, boom, there's one, boom, there's two. Comes into my zone, right? Almost up to the dynamic short zone right up here, and then comes into almost touches the Pauli zone here. It's not I don't call it a level, I call it a zone because it'll react It's plus or minus 3 ticks back and forth. You could make this 4 if you wanted to, make it a little bit wider. But as my institutional instructor says, it's not a level, it's a zone, because price action stopped on a dime. It does and it doesn't, because the institutional traders could have had that as a price, right? But they had the opportunity to push it up, and then they ran out of they ran out of people ran out of buyers. Bam, bam, bam. Here they came down. But it's a zone. It's not a level. It's a zone. Just because it turned up here does not mean that's the perfect level. It's a zone. I mean, you got 3 or 4 ticks one side or the other, where price action will vacillate between that, and that's just the way it is. I mean, institutional traders understand that. So you've got, it looked like right here, sometimes you'll get this anomalous thing here to where, okay, it looks like that's a short, but it bounced off and it went way up, right? Went right through VWAP, right through here, right up into here, and then bounced, came down, started, into my zone, came down through it, popped up a little bit. We're making right here. See that gradual turn right there, that inverted cup, I think they call it, right there. It's a beautiful place to take a short. When I see this, like I'm seeing very slightly lower high, very slightly, and it looks almost like that. Now let me draw that. It looks just like that. When I see that going on, I start looking and saying, this is going to be a really, really nice downside move. And it was. It was a really, really nice downside move. When you saw a sharp, there's two. You see a sharp rejection down here, right, which went up, but you also see this gradual rejection down here where they're building that position for the short, coming right back down. There's your flip right there, comes back up, almost tests that level. You're up into my level. You hit the Pauli level. You bounced off my level, came up to my other level, and came back down. The Pauli guys, if you were trading this, you might have gotten chopped up a little bit unless you kept your stops back. Okay, and that's not necessarily a bad idea. If you're trading levels, it's not necessarily a bad idea to keep your stops back, and just be careful, just to make sure that they don't like take you out on this type of move. So it was, the price action target was like 45.80. It touched 45.80 and then it came down. I think I went through these clear method lines before, these purple lines. Down, 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 boom, here's that. Pops back up, fiddles around, and at the end of the day, we finally come, you're hitting that level, you're hitting that level, you're hitting that level. People are getting out. What people understand is they're bouncing because people are getting out of their shorts from up here. They may have been short up here, they may have been short even from up here, but they're starting to get out of their, if they reloaded their short position up here, they're going to start to get out once you come down to this guy, to that green zone. Well, that green zone, what is it? There's my level right there. Boom, right above today's low. So you could have played that. If you wanted to, you could have played that from this level here, from that 45.8875, all the way down to 63.50, 63.25, whatever that was. And that was 45.63, 45.6350. The pivot was 45.6850. So you're looking at the first level of resistance would be 5 points either side of that, right? 5 points either side of the pivot, and then you're going to get 10 points either side of the pivot reactions. So just keep that in mind. Came back down, popped up here at the Pauli level, then came back down. Anyway, I hope you guys got something out of this video today. Whoops. Hope you guys got something out of this video today. And I haven't put the new Pauli levels on yet, so I have no idea where they are today. I haven't even calculated mine, but that's okay. I will be posting mine on mine. I think Pauli already posted his on his Twitter feed. So anyway, hey, have a great Sunday, guys, and have a great Monday trading. See ya.